Hi, this is Joy from the Red Femme Rebellion, and this is going to be my last video in the series about reporting sexual assault and rape. This video is going to be about personal reporting. I wanted to do a short video to give advice to survivors that would be disclosing for the first time to people they love and trust, and also the other people that may be the ones being disclosed to, because I think it's a very imperfect situation. There's no right way to do it. And I think if I had a little bit more forethought, a little bit more experience the last time that I was assaulted, I may not have spent an hour or two wandering around Marshall's loudly talking about being raped on my phone to whatever friend support system I could get a hold of, because I was in shock. And it ended up being a really memorable experience, not because of the 3 different people I talked to that were good support system, were good support people at the time. So they weren't trauma informed. They didn't have any advice to give me, or really any lens through which they could understand what I was saying to them. But they were sympathetic, they were validating, they were safe. And that's the best I could have asked for in that moment. I just needed to be listened to. I needed to be cared about, to be understood and heard. The one person who did not respond well was one of my brothers. And I don't blame him, because he responded in a very big sibling way, and very protective, very kind of pushy, and saying like, why aren't you getting help? Why are you calling me? Why aren't you calling the police? What are you doing? But that response immediately shut me down. It was like, I'm calling you because I can't call the police. I feel like I can't call the police. And I wasn't even able to express that to him. Instead, I just hung up the phone, and he called back and I didn't pick up, and he left me a long voicemail that I never listened to, because I was just too traumatized in that moment to hear anything past, why aren't you XYZ? So as far as being a survivor who's reporting, if you know the people in your support system that are going to be empathetic and validating, I would go to those first. Or even if you don't have empathetic validating and you just have the people that are going to say, do X, Y, or Z, then maybe plan ahead for that. I think I would plan ahead for that now, being able to say, I don't need advice, or I don't need you to tell me what to do. I just need you to listen. I'm scared, or I'm upset, right? So it's easy to say plan ahead, but I think it's just something that now that I have it in the back of my mind, I would do in the future. And if you're a person that's being disclosed to by a survivor, if someone that knows you, that trusts you, is coming to you, or in a shocked frenzy calling you on the phone to say, I was just raped, I'm wandering around a supermarket and I don't know what to do, listen. Say, are you in a safe place? Is there anything I can do to help you get to a safe place? Who's taking you to the emergency room? Who's taking you to the ER? Do you feel up to seeing a doctor? I think offering options is trauma-informed, but never coercing, never pressuring. And of course, if the person tells you, I don't want to do anything, I can't do anything, I just need you to listen, then just listen. It's not this, in that exact moment, you need to call the police and do that, go to the hospital in that exact moment. You don't. In the moment of disclosure, in the moment of trauma, which a lot of times happens for many of us immediately after or shortly after the traumatic event, your brain is not processing like it normally would. It's still running in that survival mindset. So I think being cognizant of that as a support person is very important, as well as moving forward to say, I'm here for you. So validate what's happening, reassure them that you're there for them, make sure they're safe. Really encourage them. Say, I'm here for you. If you decide you want to go to the doctor, I'll go with you. Like, I'll try to seek any support we can find from the hospital, from legal, from police, if those are the things that they bring up, if they talk about being worried about those things. I think the biggest thing anyone can do is just listen. There's no wrong way to just listen. And then if they proceed to ask for advice moving forward, or advice of what to do, then I say advise them to go to the hospital, advise them to see their doctor, and offer your support, your unconditional support. Remember to say whatever you want to do. Nothing is going to happen unless you want to do it. I'm here to support you no matter what you want to do. Because once again, in all of these situations about disclosing, about reporting, whether that's to the hospital, to the police, to the court system, to an educational system, or to your friends, the number one concern is always going to be keeping the power and control in the victim's hands, the survivor's hands. So their power, the power and control over the situation, they have the reins. Nothing goes on without their consent. And as long as you keep that as the priority, that you're there to support them, not to decide for them, not to shame them or judge them, then there's really no wrong way to support them and listen. So I wanted to give some of that advice. If you have any questions, of course, you can put them in the comments. And thank you so much for listening to this series. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about our recent action in Westchester. So again, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.